How's it going, legends? Welcome back to the Hey Big Mac podcast, your number one forward driving destination podcast in Australia. I'm your host, Hey Big Mac. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to make a special mention to our sponsors, LJ Fab and Hamptons Media Services. We also want to thank everyone who is listening, viewing, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, following. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. It's greatly appreciated. It helps heaps, guys. So thank you. On today's episode, it's going to be a good one. You. All right, guys, welcome back to the Hey Big Mac podcast, the number one forward driving podcast in Australia. I'm your host, Hey Big Mac, Macca, and I'm here with Andre, finally the co-host, and today we're sitting down with Wheelboyz.
Mate, I'll tell you what, it has been a solid minute since we've been out, but today we are joined by the team at Wheelboyz, so we've got Joanne and Dan here with us. If you guys would like to just introduce yourselves, just tell us a bit about what you do here and how long you've been with Wheelboyz.
I'm Jo and part of the team here at Wheelboyz, and we all sort of jump in and do a bit of everything together. We are very much a team effort here. Dan's our head machinist, and I've been involved with the business for many years, going back to knowing the original founder of Allied Wheels.
Oh, wow. Back
in 2000. And, Dan's been here for consistently, solidly for 13 years. So,
that's
fair bit of history there. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, okay.
What about yourself, Dan?
I'm Dan, the machinist. As Joe said, I've been here when it was under another name. I say it. Yeah.
Yep.
Allied Wheels, they were back then, and the powers that be back then decided that it was better to have a machine shop so they can customise fitments.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that way you get more of a spread on your product. So so they decided that, and I ended up landing the job and been here ever since.
Yeah, right. Well, there you go.
Dan's got many talents and a long history with different careers, but been with Allied and Wheelboyz as the head machinist for a long time now.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I suppose that'd be a very interesting job, seeing all the different types of wheels and over 13 years. That's a long time in the same.
It's good.
Industry.
It's interesting. It's a challenge. Every day is a challenge.
Yeah. Tell me something. Has the Allied Savannah had the thread inserts from day dot, or? I'll tell you why, that is my favourite part of that wheel.
At one stage they were not. They were actually threaded into the wheel, which turned out to be not quite a good design, because if you strip a thread in the wheel, obviously,
Well, the way I look at it is, if you strip a thread, you've got one more option, that's to drill it out and then put a rethread in it,
or rethread it or insert it.
Yeah.
So if you've got an insert, you thread your insert, pull the insert out, put a new one in.
That's it. It's a lot nicer, actually.
Yeah.
The Rattler wheel is still actually the threaded hole through there.
No, not anymore. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, does it have inserts now? Oh.
We use inserts.
We use inserts. Well, I machine them out now.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
So I machine them out to fit the inserts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So with the Rattlers, they are the street legal ones, aren't they?
Neither of the beadlocks are street legal.
Yeah, because that's like a story that goes around. Everyone's like, the Rattlers are like ADR approved or something.
At one point, Allied did release a Savannah imitation beadlock, which was street legal.
Yeah.
So that's where that's come from. We are looking at reintroducing that, potentially doing it in a high finish polish or a chrome, or
I do think
bit of R&D into that.
The Savannahs look better with the beadlock, even if it is a fake one.
Yeah.
I could get around that.
They were a good wheel, good looking. They're pretty much exactly like a real one.
Yeah. So I remember when I ordered my first set of the Savs, and this was back when I was still working with Tyre Power. So I said to them, I was like, I just want a decent sized offset wheel, and they just ordered me the non-beadlock ones without asking. Because I said to them beadlocks, and they're like, oh no, we ordered these because they're beadlocks are illegal. I was like, I don't care. When I got them, I was like, why'd you guys order me cruiser wheels?
Yeah.
You're not alone there with not caring. There's a lot of people that want to buy them and run them on the road.
It's not that I wanted to run it on the road. It's like this car was a toy from day dot.
Yeah.
So just that wasn't the issue for me. I knew I'd trailer it everywhere. So yeah.
And I suppose a lot of people can't afford to have 2 or 3 sets of tyres or wheels and rims either. Like
it's an expensive hobby.
It is, and I like myself. I just normally run the one set day in day out. If it is what it is. Like at the moment, I've got trapdoors on the car, which is stupid to run daily, but they make up for it on the weekend. So yeah.
Had no problems with the nuts coming loose yet?
No, not yet. So yeah, they're a bit wild though.
Yeah.
You've got a few questions done up.
Yeah, look, we were sitting, what was it, like 9 o'clock last night at a pub. And I was like, we need to think about some questions here. So we've got a few really good questions here. We've got some. First one, and this is for either of you, whoever wants to chip in and answer it. Tell us, what shape is a wheel?
What shape is a wheel? Is this a trick question?
I don't know.
Is this a G up? Dan, I'll let you get this one.
Oh, I reckon it's round.
I'd hope so. Nah, but seriously, what is the relationship between Wheelboyz and Allied? Because I get this question a lot, and I'm always curious about it too.
So Wheelboyz is our umbrella trading name.
Yep.
And we adopted it because we didn't want to showcase any one particular brand over the other.
I gotcha.
So Allied goes back to the 2000s. Boss was developed in 2015, and Performance goes back even further, back to South Australia.
Yeah, right.
So we adopted Wheelboyz purely as a trading name. It doesn't actually have any products.
Yeah.
Whereas Allied is the brand, it has the products, it's the wheels.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Ah, cool. Well, that clears that up for us.
Yeah, it sort of brings all companies and brands and different types of wheels under the one roof to sort of almost like a distributor. Is that sort of the way of it?
Well, we actually own the brands.
Yeah.
So they are us, we're the brands. But it was just not to promote one particular brand. So
well, that's if you have a business and you like, let's say it's Allied and it's named Allied and you got these 2 other brands, everyone's going to walk in and be like, what are these 2 side brands?
exactly, which is what was happening.
No, that's great.
It's smart. It works well. But that clears up everything with like Wheelboyz, and because I don't know, I had the first invitation when I went and seen him, and he was just going, oh yeah, Allied Wheelboyz. I'm going, how many brands is this? What's going on? Like, why 2 different sets of wheels? And that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you reckon? What do you reckon is the most popular wheel that you guys sell?
Thunder.
Thunders, really?
Thunder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number one.
I really thought it'd be
Without
Savs.
doubt.
Brilliant.
Thunder.
Okay.
I would have thought, Savs for sure. Yeah.
They're close second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thunder.
In the
for
beadlock,
sure.
like the beadlock is definitely, and up there in the Allied range, but 100% Thunder wheels. Thunder, Savannah, beadlocks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Probably a follow-up question to that one. Do you know how many you produce in each week out of the factory?
Well, we produce in container loads, so we will produce a run of anywhere from 500 to 2,000 in one hit.
Wow.
And then we bring them out and we warehouse them here,
Yeah.
CNC machine them, and then dispatch them from here.
Wow.
Gee.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's definitely a bit on, especially if you
I get busy. Every time there's a container in, I get real busy.
Not bad.
We try to bring in some pre-drilled fitments where we know, there's definitely like your
Yeah.
5150s, for your cruisers. We know they're neg 20, they're all going to go out. So
Definitely
we keep them on stock, pre-drilled, ready to go.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of blank wheels, which is our niche market.
Yeah. So I get a lot of people ask me, they'll have something that's not either not a patrol or a cruiser, and they'll ask me if you guys can do a wheel pattern for that.
Absolutely.
So obviously, if you guys are machining in house, that is
Yeah.
a thing.
We've made some wheels fit 8 studs when
Like the
you
Dana
wouldn't-
60s and that.
I can make a Thunder fit an 8 stud wheel.
Like that Bedford ice cream truck we did.
Yeah.
That would be
Obviously, there are limitations, like you can
like
only
your
take so
flange
much
size
off.
and that, yeah.
But we can make one wheel fit almost anything.
That's pretty cool. So you can
Almost.
cater to the American market that's coming to
Yes.
Australia.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
'Cause that's a new one.
We're
over the last
getting a
few
lot of
years.
the Ram 1500s,
Yeah,
2500s.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Silverados, we're getting a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, I might be wrong. Are the Ram 1500 still a 5-stud 150? Are they close to that?
5-star 165, I
I
think.
might be right.
Yeah.
It's very close
Yeah.
from memory.
Yeah.
Let's normalise putting salves on Commodores.
We can do an imitation.
That would look sweet.
Beadlocks at the drift days.
Salves of the new Simmons.
I like it.
Yeah, so tell us about the Rattlers, Savs and the Thunders. What was, I guess, how did those wheels actually come to be a thing? Because obviously there is a fair bit in the design process and that goes into it, but where did they, like when did each one of those sort of start, I guess? When did they hit the market?
Very early days.
Yeah.
So Gary Tonkin, who was the founder of Allied Wheels, his history goes back to the 1950s.
Yeah, right.
And his father was Speedy Wheel Repairs
Oh, okay.
in Victoria. And Gary started working for him at age 17 and became a qualified wheelwright and eventually took over that business, and it became very successful as Speedy Wheels, and he launched it as an IPO, and it became a public company.
Yep.
So he ended up selling out his interest in that and then came back, and a little while later, after being out of the industry for a while about 2000, took a trip over to Thailand with a friend, a mate, and a wheel in a suitcase and some drawings, and met with a factory and said, we want to produce some 4x4 wheels. There's, a market here in Australia it's a big blank. There's nothing there to suit. So around that time, it was very limited offerings. And, Thunders and the Savannahs, the beadlocks all date back to that early 2000s when it was really filling a niche market. So, it was the pioneers of the 4x4. Yeah. And that's where, the stronghold in the Queensland, country market for Allied product really took hold.
Yeah. No, I remember when I was still at school, like in year 12, you see all the boys with their licenses cruising around the patrols with their Savs on it. It was like always a very, very popular wheel from when since I can remember.
Yeah.
Between us, we've only had our licenses for the last 7-8 years, like max.
So
So ever since then, we just sort of
fresh as.
Is that continuous?
Yes.
I haven't lost mine. Technically, I did lose it. Like 5 months ago, I just got back off of a work license about a week. I was cruising around that company car for a solid 8 months.
Do the wrong thing, you'll find out.
We found out.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee. So what is the vision for Wheelboyz? Like, what does the future hold?
It's been an interesting couple of years for us with COVID and with what's been happening with, world logistics and supply chains and that sort of thing. Yeah. So we've really just knuckled down and simplified things internally, and we've got a great little team here, and we're just focusing on producing and supplying wheels and giving great customer service. So our customers are retailers all across the country, and we've been getting out in the last 6 months and actually going and sitting down with them and saying hello and handing out catalogues, and they're small business people who really appreciate it. They're out there working hard to make a dollar, so we take the time and effort to go and see them and give them the good customer service, and I think that's what we're going to focus on. We have launched new websites because traditionally the business was pure wholesale. We pretty much, if you tried to ring Allied, they wouldn't even want to take your call. You would have to go through a tyre or wheel shop to have to speak to someone because, it was pretty full on. So we have changed a little bit direction where we will, obviously talk to people because they want to understand the product and the fitment and understand, the process, etc. So, we're just delivering great customer service. We're in growth mode. So we have reduced 2 years ago the core line to what we knew were the biggest sellers so that we could just get through that all those lockdowns. And so now we're slowly introducing more product lines back into the fold, and
Alrighty, legends, we interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, LJ Fab. Are you looking for a new tray, canopy, or dog box for your rig? Make sure you get over and see the team who offer flexibility and custom design to suit your needs. They're a few hours west of Brisbane, located in Chinchilla, and they're shipping Australia-wide. Now, they've got a few spots left in September and bookings after that, so make sure you get in quick and get your booking ready for your rig. They've also given us a discount code, so if you mention Hey Big Mac Podcast, he's going to take 10% off your next tray. So terms and conditions apply and get in quick. Thanks, legends. Back to today's episode. You.
Did COVID hit you pretty hard when that all first kicked off, or?
Mostly the supply chain.
Yep.
So demand was high. People were bored. Everyone was going four-wheel driving. Everyone was
had
buying
cars.
caravans. They wanted our wheels, but we just couldn't keep up. You know, it took us 10 months to land containers we put in 6 container orders and then they'd all arrive at once. So, yeah, we had some logistical issues.
Yeah.
But the demand was high. You know, everyone was off camping and having a good time. And,
Well, that's when I bought my wheels. Originally was actually right in the middle of COVID. It was like 4 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget it either. I was working with Tyre Power, and when the one day I was like, right, it's time. You know, the car's at that point, and can you put some locks on it? And I just said to him, I was like, where's the Allied catalogue? I want some salves. And I remember, never forget the lady at the counter was just like, oh, why don't you go with like, and she like named off another brand. I was like, no, bro, I want salves. Yeah, I was just like, that was the OG wheel sort of thing.
Yeah.
We recently had a bloke who bought a car because he always likes Savannah beadlocks, so he bought the wheels first, then bought a car to suit.
That's one way to commit yourself to buying a car.
Yeah, well. Yep.
Oh, good on him.
I just thought of a really good question. And just
Yeah,
slip my mind.
This is where we need elevator music.
That's the power of editing.
That's like what's going through my head 24/7, just elevator music.
How many of us are you working here?
There's 4 of us
Yep.
currently, plus we have obviously our overseas production team. But yeah, so Dan machines, and there's a couple of us on sales, and we have someone out on the road full time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's not as big as I think most people would imagine. Like, you probably hear a name like Allied and people are thinking, oh, there'd be multi-million-dollar business with hundreds of thousands of workers everywhere. And
We're one of the last few remaining privately owned wheel manufacturers in Australia.
Yeah, right.
So you would really be surprised at how many brands that you could name that I would say, yes, public company,
Yeah.
and pretty much under the banner of either Wheelpros out of USA.
Yep.
Or NTAW, which is National Tire and Wheel, who own 12 segmented accounts, but one of them is Dynamic and a lot of their brands. So those guys, they can afford lots of top tier managers under their budgets. But we all buckle down and jump in and do the job. It's pretty simple. You know, we have great designs and we bring them in and we machine them and get them out.
Yeah. No, that's the go.
I suppose you've sort of brought in a product that either if people want it, you're the only one they can go to too at the end of the day. So.
Exactly. It's
100%, yeah.
Did you figure out that
I
question yet?
just thought of it again. Some bullshit, man. Yeah, coffee.
Yeah.
hang on, let's turn this thing over.
Yeah.
Flip the sands of the hourglass.
Hourglass over.
This is getting out of control, I'll tell you what. Actually, yeah, that was it. So I've had a lot of people, I've mentioned this to you before in one of our previous conversations, but when I speak to people and they see their wheels in my car, one of the first questions I always get is, do they even still make salves? Which always really surprises me, but I understand why they say this because I feel like there's a few dealerships that just try and push another brand. What's your take on that?
My take on that? I guess, doubling back to pretty much everything is public company. There's only a few of us that are actually local manufacturers. The other thing that's happening in the industry and, online retail, the landscape of retail has really changed everything, including our industry, where the likes of chain stores, I won't name any, and also online resellers are manufacturing their own wheels, and it's a generic product, and they're putting it out there first to the customer.
And they're not as strong, most of them.
We believe
No,
we have
I
the
know for a fact they're not. I've seen steel wheels getting bent just because in certain places.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a company up in Brendale that have steel wheels that they import, and I will tell you now, they will not even last a Woolies car park.
Yeah.
They bend like
Yeah, there you
crazy.
go. Yeah.
We don't run steel, never,
No.
not interested.
No.
See, I've always the wheels are on my car now are the first pair that are non-steel wheels that I've ever had. I've always had the cheap.
Well, that's all we could
King's
ever afford.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was budget,
Yeah.
being a P plater and all that. And
Yeah.
steel wheels is just cheap
Sun
option,
rays
nice
is-
tyres.
Sunnies.
Stench.
I feel like even like because when I was apprentice, obviously first year apprentice, I had the patrol, so I was paying off a loan, and I had some sunnies. And the only good thing about it was, I suppose, if you bent a wheel, you could probably bash into place a little bit.
Straight.
But
It'll get you home.
Yeah.
and that's an argument a lot of people have, but I don't think what they don't realize is an alloy wheel won't bend
No.
at the limit that a steel wheel will bend. It'll take a lot more for an alloy wheel
Yeah,
to deform
and-
a steel wheel.
Once upon a time, we did used to re-straighten them.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
Hell no.
That was probably 8 years ago or so, more. But yeah, we
Actually-
don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I've watched some of the American boys, like the drift boys always do it. Re-straightening out wheels
Yeah.
and stuff just before an event.
Welding them out. And
Yeah, welding them out like that,
Yeah.
and then
Oh.
like you weld them, and then people don't realise every time that weld goes around and hits the road,
Oh yeah.
it flexes.
Yeah, right.
So then it just cracks.
Yeah.
It can be-
And because welding changes the metallurgy. And
It does, yeah.
It's
It
a weak
changes
thing,
all,
it goes so much
all,
harder.
all the atoms just rattle around a little
Yeah.
bit quicker, and then just don't have that
That's
bond.
it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things, I guess.
Not treated as own. I've got another sort of random question. Who would sort of be your biggest competition in Australia as you see today? Like,
Biggest competition.
yeah.
We don't have any competition.
That's a very good answer.
That's what we like to hear.
There is nothing
Yeah.
to compare.
I like that answer. I was actually expecting like a really long-winded conversation off that.
No.
It would have been like, oh yeah, these people. But yeah, no, I suppose if you're the best in business, that's what you end up with. So no competition.
We stay in our lane. We
Yeah.
don't. We just stay in our lane.
Stick with what you know best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Man, I'm bad for this today.
You got any more there?
No, I went through my list like it was nothing.
I suppose, do you get much feedback from any other brands as to, or like people poaching ideas for like how you're doing this? And,
It's a copy industry. It's
Yeah.
worse than handbags.
yeah,
I can
because I mean everyone's seen like the your wish.com or something, the Chinese sellers, like
Yeah.
rooftop tents has been probably the best example of that over the last probably 3, 4, 5 years.
Roof
Is-
System, Kings, every other brand has the
Kings,
same
yeah.
exact.
Everyone's
Yeah.
well, look at Motop. Like they brought out this hard shell clam rooftop tent,
Yeah.
and now you can buy them on Alibaba for $300 each for 60 of them.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's very much a copy
Oh, yeah.
industry. So
Yeah,
It goes back to quality.
Yeah,
What do
exactly.
you want
It
to buy?
is,
exactly
yeah,
right.
exactly.
and it's sort of like I mean you've got Kings at the end of the day, like Adventure Kings gear. Their stuff's just a copy. It's Chinese. It's cheap, but for the average person, that might be their budget. Because
I tell you what, it's funny. Sometimes you'll walk around the car parks, the mine at the camp. So there'll be like a couple thousand cars, and you just drive around, and every second car has a King's Light
Yes.
bar on it.
Yeah.
It's funny
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still running a King's fridge in my car.
Well,
It works.
I'm on my second King's fridge in the car, and the first one only lasted 4 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm on my first one right now. I bought it when I was still working for Komatsu. So it lived in the toolbox of my truck. I was doing that for a year, and then so I've had it for 3 years now.
King's one.
Yeah, King's Fridge. It's just going strong.
Well, this one's done right.
You're doing well.
This one's all right. It's like bit over 12 months now. So it's
That's good.
first one could have been just a dud, but
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, for us being a work fridge, cheap fridge, we're not precious on gear.
yeah,
no.
It's something that was
Yeah.
cheap at the time, and it's still
Yeah.
working. So
yeah,
run with it. But yeah, it's not something that's essential to, I suppose, keep you on your road in your industry. You want something that's not going to blow out down the highway.
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about tyres? Do you work at anything at all with tyres, or is it just purely wheels and rims?
Just wheels, yeah. We don't do tyres. Have never ever delved into tyres.
Yeah. Never been a thought for an expansion or?
No, well, we supply tyre stores.
Yeah.
So, it's not something we want to keep that business.
Yeah, well, you don't want to step on your clients, do you?
No, exactly. So, yeah, they sell the tyres. We complement each other.
Yeah.
That's how it works, yeah.
It's hand in hand. You just one takes care of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, wouldn't want to know about tyres. I think the insurance would be a nightmare, the storage, the disposal costs,
Yeah.
It's a headache.
Yeah, I actually worked in a tyre shop before
yeah.
I worked here, amongst many other jobs I've done. But yeah.
I'd love to know how some of the cheaper, like the Chinese brands, actually get their tyres through.
I don't know how they get past the safety standards.
Well, neither do I. Like I was talking about those rims before. I was like,
Yeah,
there's got to be a certain standard like that they have to comply to.
yeah.
I can't see a wheel that bends as easily as some of these some that I've seen. I can't see that passing that standard.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it either.
Actually, so here's one thing I was going to ask. A few years ago, it's like 2 years ago now. I had this one bloke that I know. He showed me a video. He had a set of traps, and he's like pushing the inner bead was just popping in and off, like on and off with the salves. And I thought it was really weird because I know for a fact my salves, I bought mine 4 years ago now. It took me a heap of effort to pop that inner bead on a tyre machine.
Yeah.
And I was looking at this and I said to him, it's got to be a busted bead on that tyre. That's all that made sense to me. But what I want to ask is, has the inner bead design been updated at all on that, like down the line, or?
No modifications to that. To the wheel you're talking?
Yeah, so where it's got the inner lip on the bead, because I was looking at it when I was mounting my tyres, and it's got the main lip and it's got a few more ribs.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of meat there to hold the tyre,
Yeah.
and I've never had an issue with it either. But yeah, I was curious about that.
I think it's basically the same as it's been since I started.
Yeah,
I think maybe they've rounded off one edge just to help you get that beat over. But
yeah,
I think there's
I
a
think
trend
it's still
too.
the same.
We've seen a change in trends. So now
Yeah, I
much
can
bigger
imagine.
tyres.
Oh,
so
yeah.
these
Oh.
beadlock
yeah.
rims were designed back in the day, like pioneers of.
Like, yeah, well, I guess
And
when a
the
33-inch tyre
technologies-
was more the size.
Well,
Yeah. And
yeah.
so we are updating now. We're making modifications, but we're certainly having to change how, we have to fit the tyres, and
Yeah.
recently helped a customer here. But, I mean, they take a bit of effort to fit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you
that's
take
a beadlock though. That you
Yeah.
want it to be a good fit. But I suppose one of the other issues that you'd run into is, like, let's say a 17-inch wheel, you'd want the bead of each tyre to be an exact amount, like size. But I guess there would be a variation from brand to brand too, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably another thing you're probably battling, because like someone with, and yeah, it could very well be a stretch bead, someone mounts a stretch bead tyre onto one of your wheels and they go, oh no, it's the wheel's problem, I guess.
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
with balancing, we see that as well. And
Yeah.
it's an art. You got to
Oh,
know what you're doing
yeah.
to fit a beadlock. So
I'm
taking
actually-
it to someone who's never done one round the corner and they call you an hour later and they're done,
no,
you've
yeah.
got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. So this,
You've seen me fit mine up.
I've seen you fit wheels, so I want to see that again. So when I
wasn't
fitted
good.
mine, I never actually put balance bags in my wheels, and I have 0 wobbles on them. And I don't know how or why. But yeah.
You got
I was-
lucky.
I got very lucky. I don't know what the go is. But yeah. No,
You did a good job.
good job. Just professional, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the care. It's the love.
Yeah, it's a snap-on torque wrench that did it.
Quality.
That's something else we see a lot of people over talking.
Oh yeah, just rattle it up.
Yeah.
I've seen it way too much. I see, like, yeah, you go to glass house and some guy with a set of wheels just absolutely cranking it into it. I was like, dude, the torque specs on them are very, very low. You just got to go around it a lot to reach the spec.
Yeah.
And I always see like people with their beadlocks, crisscross, but
Yeah.
yeah, so people with their beadlocks, like, you always see the locking ring come loose on a lot of wheels, and it's obviously, I don't know, to me, it's just the way it's mounted. But it took me, I think, I went probably an hour per wheel. I was just going crisscross until...
And you got to take them down slowly.
Well,
And
yeah. So
if you're going
this
with-
is something I learned when I was still working for John Deere, doing my trade, and it is with those. So on the back of the tractors, they had a wedge design, so it wedges the wheel to the axle, and you'd spend probably a solid half hour torquing up 8 bolts, and it just crisscross, and each time it would just go tighter and tighter and tighter. And I just took that same principle on my beadlocks, and I mounted these ones probably a year and a half ago, and we've done some big jumps since then.
Done some
And
crazy
they haven't
stuff.
come loose at
Yeah.
all. So it's just one of those things, I guess.
That's where you benefit in taking the care to do it
Yeah.
right straight up. Yeah, so just recently with having set fit some beadlocks, I helped a customer fit where they had been misfit, and it was a bit ugly. We saw some high tensile bolts that were stretched,
Yeah.
and the amount of pressure they would have had to put on over torque them to stretch a high tensile bolt.
Yeah.
So we've with our beadlocks now, we're giving locating pins for the ring, and also 2-inch bolts, starter bolts.
That's
So if
cool.
you've got
Yeah.
your locating
So you
pins
can
for your
actually pull it
ring,
down.
some starter bolts, you just get it started, get it down to a certain level, put your other bolts in, and go from there.
So that actually make the mounting process so much quicker.
Well,
too.
it
Yeah.
does, it makes it, you're probably knocking off 10, 15
Yeah, 100%. Because I remember with my last ones, I was doing it. So I was doing extra work for a grape farm out at Emerald, and they had a time machine, so I was using that, and they didn't have any long bolts that I could make guides with. So I just what did I do? I went like 2 bits of cardboard and just a G clamp to just bring them down that ever so slightly, and then just start it off. Because I was real sus about starting on just like 1 or 2 threads.
I actually make these pins now. We get a bar and I machine them down to fit the wheel side and then the ring side, because it's slightly different.
Yeah. So
So the ring will sit down
and it'll
then
center that rim.
you center it, and you can put your bolts in and then lift that ring up,
Oh, wow.
and off she comes.
That'd make it so much simpler. See, little things like that, like innovations, where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about problem solving.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's a lot of brands just say take it to a professional. They don't actually want to make it easier for the customer, because the customer is not always a tyre shop. I suppose sometimes it is a person who wants to do it in his shed because he's trying to save a bit of money. Or
they've
Yeah.
got a blowout on
Yeah.
the side of the road.
well,
Yeah.
that's that. I suppose Especially, I guess, if you're like out at the at events and stuff, and you need to mount tyres, and definitely making stuff easy like that.
Are you chasing professional photography or videography work or logo designs like you see from all the Hey Big Mac accounts? Well, Hampton's Media Services, located between Gold Coast and Bundaberg, can bring your profiles back to life with a new professional look. So go check them out and let them know that the Hey Big Mac podcast has sent you. Cheers, guys. Back to today's episode.
What would be the biggest problem you see come back from customers that is probably the most common thing, whether it's either your fault or their fault or misuse from a tyre shop? Is it how they're mounted up most of the time?
Well, firstly, we don't see a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Like our issues, warranties, anything like that is so limited.
Yeah.
And generally, if it is, I'm trying to think of one. If it's a finish issue, it might be where somebody's sprayed it with a harsh chemical and you can tell.
Yeah.
If it's we haven't had any structural warranties.
And it's grossly been overloaded.
Put it this way, I've heard a lot of stories. I've never seen actual
Proof.
proof.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stories I've heard too, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm mechanical by nature. I understand wheels and things, and a lot of the people they'll say to me, "Oh, this is this and this and this." And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, "Yeah, but how'd you mount it? How'd you do this?" Like I'm thinking, like a prime example, that guy that I was telling about with the bead being a failure, and I was like, you can't guarantee that bead hasn't stretched in the tire itself, because that does happen. I've seen the wire inside of a rubber track fail on a John Deere harvester, and the track kept walking to the left on a brand new machine. That is something that apparently was impossible, but it happened.
Who made that
So-
tire?
I was just on just the rubber track. So these are made by
Okay.
just on a harvester.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the because it's just the metal wire inside, and it can definitely break. It's just one of those things.
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, if it's you expect your tyre to actually do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
The most abused thing on a
$100%.
Yeah.
people are acting like a tyre is meant to last forever. It's like, it's a consumable.
Mate, they take some wear and tear on the tyre.
Yeah.
No, I was like looking at my work kit the other day. There's 80,000 Ks on the tyres that are on it, and they only just started to chip off. And I'm like, talking to my dad about it. I was like, if you think about it, it's impressive.
It is.
That's
Pretty good.
80,000 Ks of mostly gravel or towing a car trailer.
No roundabouts.
Really good.
Yeah. A lot of roundabouts. You clearly don't live in the city.
Oh, I'm so happy with that.
I got a follow-up question as well. Where, if someone was to get allied wheels or anything from Wheelboyz, where would they go to, like dealer-wise? Is there certain select brands of like dealers and retailers that you work through to supply, or?
So you can go to any wheel and tyre store, or you can come to us direct. That's where we, in the last 6 months, we went out to all our dealers and said, we get a lot of consumer inquiry, so people do come to us, and rather than just saying, no, don't talk to us, go see someone else, we want to help people out and get the sale across the line and, supply them what they want. So we have a preferred dealer network where we'll send the wheels to a store that we work with in your area, and then they will fit them up for you and, sell you your tyres, etc. So it's just, you can come to us and talk to us direct or go to any wheel and tyre store.
So at least there's still that option to go direct.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anyone wanted to.
Yeah.
And
You don't get that with a lot of brands. A lot of brands just, they only deal through dealerships. I know Mishimoto did that last year. And it used to be so great. You want to buy an intercooler, you go straight through them and you can ask them the questions, and now that's gone. So that's like one thing I like about Wheelboyz is you come out and you can speak to the professionals, the people who know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well,
and
it's
you get that little bit of information that you need that you will not get at a tyre shop.
It's really important because you might have questions about our product that the wheel and tyre guy won't know, and he has to pick up the phone and ring us and takes time out of their day. Whereas if if we're saying to our guys in a tyre store in Emerald or wherever and saying, okay, we've been dealing with this guy here, he's ready to go, we're going to send you out his wheels. That's much easier for them as well. Yeah. And particularly with performance wheels, one of our other brands, we have to talk to the customer because it's so specific.
Yeah,
it's
exact backspace. I can imagine that's a whole other ball game.
And no two drill jobs or vehicles, honestly. We can do 200 HQ drills,
I reckon
and they'll have
for a HQ easily 300 programs.
I could just imagine. I've got a HQ with a 4 9-inch.
So
every time.
That's where we have to talk to the customer.
That would definitely make it better because that's like you go to retail and they will tell you what's on the paper in front of them, and that's it. So I always tell people, like when we go to events and stuff, people ask me, mate, I want some salves,
bring us, bring Wheelboyz.
Go to Wheelboyz, use my discount code.
Yep.
And then I'm like, because if you've got questions, they will get you the answer from
100%. You're getting it from absolutely.
It's a bit better. Because and I've had it before where you go to a wheel shop, like a tyre shop, and you're asking questions about a bead lock or something, and they'll just be like, oh mate, just bring it in and we'll mount it for you. It's like, no, I don't want to pay you to mount it for me. Like, just answer me these questions.
Yeah.
What's the most common rim size that you see go out? Is it like a 16 or 17? Like, what would be the most common?
Well, we predominantly run 16, 17s and 18s in Allied. Yeah. And definitely 18s in Boss.
The Boss is more of the range, more on your American
styling.
So I noticed that.
Yeah, deep dish.
Look pretty, don't take it off road.
Nice, fancy.
Don't get it dirty.
More of like your tidier around town sort of car, like want it to look good, but not
like
stop.
the candy red Panthers on my Raptor out
we see
front.
that
I'd say like the lifted ranges.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But 16-inch, Dan, what do you think? 16-inch and for your cruisers, like it's hardcore
16,
following.
16,
33s,
Yeah.
It was, probably, I don't know, quite a few years ago, it was a lot of 15s. But they
when I first started with 4Bs, I ran a 15-inch tyre, rim, 35-inch tyre. And like a year after this, and this was on Mickey Thompson's, I could not find a 15-inch 35-inch tire.
Yeah,
It's just gone
so
so yeah.
They used,
So I remember,
they
like,
used
you
to
used to be able to
everywhere.
get 37s with 15 inches, like, on the rim.
Yeah.
You big rubber.
That's a big tire.
It's a big rubber.
It looks so good. I just love it, eh? You just, like, see these, like, little rims, big rubbers.
It
Can't get
gave you that
anymore.
feeling of America where they've got like a 17-inch rim, but then they're running 45s.
They do some wild stuff over there.
Macca and I want to. We're planning on going over next year, and we're talking to a few of the boys up that way, and just getting around there and sort of making a little, just showing them how the Aussies do it,
Yeah. Why
So
not? Why
you're going to
not?
head out to California or go to the SEMA races or?
I'd love to go for King of the Hammers. So
That'd be
is
cool.
It's one of the biggest off-road racing events there, and all the big names are there. So I'd love to go with the Blue Ute, take it out, and run in the. I don't know what class I'll run in. It'll be like the because the classes there were completely different. So for us in Australia, I'd be running in class 8, and then you'll have $1 million car right next to you in the same class. In America, it's all split. So there you've got like your I can't even remember what the names are. But yeah, so you got your different classes, but it also goes off your tyre sizes, I think. So there's a little bit of restriction on that. But yeah, it'll be good.
Have you seen them run those monster trucks over there on the track?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, this is definitely keen on doing that. It'll be like I'll be running like a production modified class, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a bit of a goal for me, is just getting over there. Even if I can't race, I just want to go and see what it's all like. See what the other way of doing things is, I guess.
Yeah, I went to the States when I was a kid, and now it's a passion to sort of go back and watch the racing, the off-road, and do all that sort of stuff. Now that you're old enough, you found your spot, what you want to do, what you're passionate about. So.
Yeah.
I love it over there.
Yeah.
We've been a few times and
Yeah.
they're pretty loose and
They're
there's no
wild.
substitute
Well, that's what I
for
love. It's
horsepower and
exactly.
noise.
They're all about it. It's all about the party,
I think it's good at the moment, especially for Australian sort of off-road four-wheel driving industry. You've got so many people taking the jump in the last probably year to this year. Is you've got Patriot, Matt from Explore Life, 4Drive 24/7. They're all heading to the States now to sort of show Australia, I suppose, how much actually goes on in the States and what there is, what's the difference. Like, America is just so much. Like, everyone sees an F truck or something over here, or a Ram or a Chev, and they go, "That's huge."
It's normal.
They're a normal.
Yeah.
They call them Utes over there, nearly, because they're just such a tiny truck. Like,
We brought in a 3500 dually Silverado
oh.
and
don't even talk to me.
bought it in Orange County and shipped it over, and driving it over there was fine, it was just like driving around a normal car. Got back here and it was like being in a semi-trailer trying to stay in the lanes.
Yeah.
I was a couple of weeks ago. I was driving around in a 2500 Ram, and I was like seeing this thing. I was like, I'm 6'4", and it just felt perfect. Like in my highlights, I feel like my seat's all the way back. This thing, I didn't even have my seat all the way back. It was like 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there. I was like, I feel like such a man right now. You're like this is real.
When you've got to stretch to reach the volume
I'm
dial,
just
you're
like
in an
sitting
American
like this,
truck.
like, just reach over.
Feel like Marge
Look at your
in the
passengers. Like, are you good over there?
Oh, my old boy's got a 1500 Ram, and it's just like it's driving a couch compared to the 79.
Even the 1500 is quite large, and price-wise, you compare that to a 200 series, you still got 4.5 tons towing capacity.
Yeah.
I want one.
Well, I think the base model 1500s were nearly the same price as like a 79 series, 200 series. So
What are they like as a 4V, but?
Trash.
hard.
Yeah.
It's
Very hard.
So the 1500 it's IFS front, so there's that already. So you're basically it's a touring rig, in my opinion. And then your 2500, I guess, it's a big car.
Yeah.
So
Big, but
if you want
solid
to-
axle, diesel, torque.
Like they got the parts, they got the drivetrain, strong drivetrain. But if you want a four-wheel drive like in Australia, you're going to struggle because track width.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
So
True.
it's just that's like the issue you're running into. Where in America there is a lot of tracks where, and they call it like a track for full size rigs or jeeps. Then it's
Only
actually
in
a thing
America,
like that.
right?
Yeah, you go to a Moab and there'll be like a whole little fucking list of tracks, and then it'll say what it's more suited to. So you got your full size tracks and your UCVs and Jeeps and So that's the differences between there and here. Like here, all our cars are very similar size, but I mean, you put neg 44s on a GU axle, and you're already sitting outside of most tracks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're wide.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's the only, I think, the downfall on it. But for me, I would really just, if I had the money, I'd buy one for a tow rig. That's it.
Yeah.
Tom around.
Just
They're
tow
good
the
for
race
towing.
trucks with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see a Ram loaded up, like you could have them at 3-4 ton plus a trailer or caravan or something like that,
And the handles are no.
and they're still going 12 litres per 100. You're not going
That's
to get that
that's
out of an
awesome,
Australian
isn't it?
car.
Really?
It's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
My
we just went
highlights-
out to Fink, and one of the boys was with his GMC towing a caravan, and out there you can go as quick as you want on the highways. They're sitting there 12, 13 litres per 100, and I'm
That's
just like,
awesome. with
in the
all that
territory
weight.
you're doing 130, and it's just
I mean,
like nothing.
my
Yeah.
Hilux burns 30.5 litres to 100 unloaded.
My Colorado does 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's one of those things you look at as like all our motors here that we get are like going sub 3 litres, and over there like we'll go bigger.
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially Dodge. Dodge just said we'll put a Hellcat motor in it. Let's go.
So many more options in the States.
Yeah. No, I reckon that would be definitely like a cool thing to do is actually go to the States next year sometime.
Yeah.
Just go.
Do you have big business over in the USA?
No, we actually used to import out of USA,
Yep.
and we'd actually like to go and export to USA,
Yeah.
both performance and allied wheels.
Yeah.
We supply Kimberley Campers, who make
Oh,
campers,
right.
and they export units into US with our wheels on. So, yeah, it would be good to get a presence over there.
Definitely. Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to see because I've seen a couple of American brands that like tires and stuff like Mill Style tires like the
That's right,
Patagonias.
yeah.
They're all like big Jeep tires in the States, and they're just starting to come over into Australia like the last year.
Yeah.
It's just
I haven't seen one.
yeah, they're only like a real sort of newish type thing, but yeah, it's just a difference that America's starting to come to Australia. Australia's slowly getting into America.
A lot of our performance wheels would suit some of their good old classic cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I'm looking
Yeah.
at some of these.
Yeah, some of
designs
them,
over here, I was
yeah.
like, I can see that happening.
Yeah, I'm looking at some in the corner. I'm like, they look like my old boys Toronto ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're the hot wires,
Yeah.
GTs.
GTs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be heaps. I think we're pretty much good to finish off there, guys. It's do you have anything you sort of want to promote? The brands, socials?
No, I'm obviously, that's
Jump over to Wheelboyz and Allied and check them out.
exactly. Come and have a look and follow us. And we've never really had a social media sort of presence because we've always just done what we did in the background.
Yep.
But yeah, now we'd really like to engage with people a lot more, and it's a new world out there.
That's it. It's
And,
good to see.
Definitely.
Yeah, so jump on, follow us, like us.
Yeah, we'll have everything linked in the description anyway. So
Yeah.
Make sure you use my discount code, Blue Magic.
also linked below. Awesome, guys. I appreciate you coming on and having a chat.
Well, thanks for
last
coming
minute.
down. And,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm happy to make the effort. So
yeah.
thanks
Cheers.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go have a look through the shop.